Phantoms, 1998 sci-fi horror film. Greetings, fiends. It's your old pal Horror Mike, and today we're going to take a look at the 1998 sci-fi horror film Phantoms, directed by Joe Chappelle and starring Peter O'Toole, Rose McGowan, Ben Affleck, and Liev Schreiber. The film was adapted from a 1983 novel by author Dean R. Koontz. Phantoms, a mistake?
But Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Word, bitch.
To begin with, Phantoms has a surprisingly low score of 5.4 on IMDB. Definitely not reflective of this fine bit of sci-fi horror cinema from top-notch genre writer Dean Koontz, known for such classic works as Demon Seed, Night Chills, Watchers, Whispers, and Odd Thomas. Phantoms is also one of the better Lovecraftian films I've ever seen, wherein the connection between Lovecraft's The Old Ones from outer space and Koontz's Ancient Enemy from inside the Earth bear some similarities. The film is well-paced, creepy, suspenseful, and delivers the horror goods in spades after developing a somewhat complex picture of the, quote, alien menace, unquote, confronting the main characters. So why did Dean Koontz proclaim Phantoms to be, quote, one of the 10 biggest mistakes of my life, unquote? First, let's look at the film. Phantoms, the plot. The basic premise of Phantoms is as follows. Two sisters, played by Rose McGowan and Joanna Going, arrive at a small ski resort in the Rocky Mountains, only to find that all of the inhabitants have seemingly vanished. As they begin to search the town, they find a few dead bodies and suspect that it is the work of a serial killer. But there is no blood at the murder scenes, no sign of struggle, and ultimately, how could a single serial killer dispatch all of the residents? The sisters come across a sheriff, played by Ben Affleck, and his partner, Liev Schreiber, who is a former FBI agent. The sheriff calls for backup, and federal agents' associates get a hold of an academic-turned-paranormal tabloid editor, Dr. Timothy Flight, played by Peter O'Toole, who theorizes the town has fallen victim to the Ancient Enemy, a strange and horrifying entity that periodically wipes out civilizations, including those of the Mayans and the Roanoke Island colonists, to name a few. As federal agents and scientists descend upon the besieged ski resort, Dr. Timothy Flight and the others are ultimately the only ones capable of stopping the rising menace of the Ancient Enemy. The countdown to terror has begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely.
First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young, and not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit, I don't want to get abducted and anal.
This film is not rated. Phantoms keeps the pace. A few things I like about Phantoms include the pacing and lack of padding. They don't waste a lot of time with the sisters arriving in the Colorado town and discovering things are not normal. The story engages quickly, and the filmmakers refuse to pad the film with scenes of meandering dialogue that has killed the suspense and build-up of many a genre film. They get straight to the meat of the matter as the girls find a few corpses. Joanna Going's character, Dr. Jennifer Paley, is able to intelligently question things about the deaths. And until Dr. Flight arrives later in the film, she is the brains of the entourage that is composed of her sister, the sheriff, and his creepy deputy, well played by Liev Schreiber. Once Dr. Flight arrives, real explanations regarding the disappearances of the townsfolk and the manner of their deaths are revealed, along with a very interesting background of the ancient enemy. And while there is a strong Lovecraftian vibe about the creature, it remains largely unique as a mysterious and very powerful subterranean entity. Dean Koontz on Phantoms. So why did Koontz seem to dislike his own creation? The short answer? Typecasting. Quote, "Writing Phantoms was one of the 10 biggest mistakes of my life, ranking directly above that incident with the angry porcupine and the clown, about which I intend to say nothing more. Phantoms has been published in 31 languages and has been in print continuously for 15 years as I write this. Worldwide, it has sold almost 6 million copies in all editions. It has been well reviewed, and more than a few critics have called it a modern classic of the genre. Readers write to me by the hundreds every year, even this long after first publication, to tell me how much they like Phantoms. I enjoyed writing the book, and when I had to reread it to create a screenplay for the film version, I found it to be just the thrill ride that I had originally intended to produce. Yet it is this novel, more than any other, that earned me the label of, quote, horror writer, unquote, which I never wanted, never embraced, and have ever since sought to shed, unquote." Koontz goes on to explain that money was slow coming from his previous novel, Whispers, so in order to pay the bills, his agent suggested another horror story. He continues, quote, "I thought I would cleverly evade their horror or starve ultimatum by making Phantoms something of a tour de force, rolling virtually all the monsters of the genre into one beast, and also by providing a credible scientific explanation for the creature's existence. Instead of fearless vampire hunters armed with wooden stakes, instead of werewolf trackers packing revolvers loaded with silver bullets, my protagonists would save themselves by using logic and reason to determine the nature of their mysterious enemy and to find a way to defeat it. Phantoms would be a horror story, yes, but it would also be science fiction, an adventure tale, a wild mystery story, and an exploration of the nature and source of myth," unquote. Hardcover sales were weak, but ultimately paperback sales went through the roof and made Koontz a nice chunk of change. He concludes, quote, "Do I like Phantoms? Yes. Do I wish I'd never written it? Yes. Am I happy to have written it? Yes. Am I a little schizo on this issue? Yes," unquote. I find Koontz's reaction a little strange, considering that he had already written horror novels or sci-fi horror novels, such as Demon Seed, Night Chills, and Whispers. I personally always thought of Koontz as being a horror writer because he's written many horror novels. But there you have it, folks, a little look into the world of Phantoms. It's not on Tubi, but you can rent it or buy it on DVD or Blu-ray. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please like and subscribe. Thank you.